So I think it was last Christmas, my mom forwarded me an email joke that said this lady was preparing her Christmas Day turkey, and her friends were over, and she took the turkey and she cut the legs off, and she prepared it and she put it in the oven. And her friend said, "Why do you cut the legs off the turkey?" And she said, "Well, I don't know, we just always have." She said, "Well, it's just going in the oven, right?" She said, "Well, yeah, it's just family tradition, we've just always done that." She said, "Well, why?" She said, "Well, I don't know, let me call my mom." So she called her mom and said, "Mom, when we're making turkey, why do we cut the legs off?" And the mom said, "Well, I don't know, that's just why we've always done it. Let me call my mom." So she called Grandma and said, "Mom, why do we cut the legs off the turkey when we're preparing it?" She said, "Oh, honey, back when we first started making turkeys, the ovens were so small they wouldn't fit. So we had to cut the legs off so you know, to get in the oven so we can cook it." And they went, "Oh, heck, that's why we do what we do." Now, once they knew why they cut the legs off the turkey before they were cooking it, then they could make the choice either to honor that tradition or to make some new tradition or just do it differently. They could do it with a different sense of meaning as they were doing it because they knew why they were doing it, that they were connecting with Mom and Grandma in times past. Even though the ovens now are so huge, you can cook anything in there.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And so when we look at the first day of spring, the equinox celebration, we see its roots, and we see where it came from. And we're enlightened folks who don't see judgment. We see what we can learn from our pagan brothers and sisters, and our Catholic brothers and sisters, and our Christian brothers and sisters, and all of God's kids going all the way back through time, saying, gosh, what can we learn? Why did we do these things as a people? And why do we want to continue to do them? Just like with the turkey with the eggs, with the legs, we can say, I want to choose to continue to do that, but now I understand it better. Or I want to do something different now, whichever. Either way, I bet we all look at Tuesday, March 20th, a little bit different, as it's the spring equinox, the day of, one of 2 days of the entire year, that the day and night are in equal parts. One of the 2 days of the year, that there is just as much day as there is night. I'm born on the longest night of the year, the winter solstice. My sister is born on the longest day of the year, the summer solstice. This is the midway point for both of us. Between me and Denise, this is it, baby. She gets the longest day, I get the longest night. Today is that balance, that equal. And so the first thing that I look at with the spring solstice, the spring equinox, is balance. Balancing day and night, equal parts. How much do we strive for balance throughout our lives? On Tuesday, our whole world is balanced. Equal parts. Equal parts. Not favoring one side or the other side, whatever that would be in your life, whatever that would manifest as, whatever that would represent as. With some of us, it's too much work, not enough play, or too much play, not enough work, or too much this, not enough that. Whatever your too muches are. Tuesday is all about balancing out, equal parts. I love finding out how, and learning and sharing how many of the traditions that we have, where they came from. Because I remember growing up as a kid thinking, hey, I understand the resurrection story, and I understand all these things, but where did the bunny come from? And where did the eggs and the hide the things and all of these things? And just that little bit of knowledge, that knowing of where it came from and how many centuries it was done this way. And how important, we think about our lives, and we have refrigeration. We have grocery stores. We can have anything we want, anytime we want it. We have fresh food all the time. We have fresh this, fresh that. We can have it, we can keep it, we can grow it, And I think back to thousands of years of human history that starting in the spring was planting the seeds that would lead to the crop, that would lead to the winter storage, that had to make it all the way through until spring showed up again. That is so much different than our present reality. Back in those days, candles weren't all that abundant. God decided when nighttime was. And we actually went to sleep because there wasn't nothing else to do, right? Imagine if when the sun went down, you couldn't turn a light on. And you don't want to burn through your candles because you just didn't have all that many. Unless you had some bees hanging out outside, you could borrow some of that. It was God decided when you went to sleep, God decided when you woke up. God decided when it was time to make preparation and when it was time to live off that preparation. We think about all of those things leading into a spring equinox, that spring celebration of, woohoo, maybe winter's over. Now, we moved here from South Dakota, and I know a lot of you moved from different places also. Remember back. I'll pull a Mary. Come back in your mind. When you endured winter, all winter, that in order to go outside meant scraping ice off of cars and bundling up like the Michelin Man just to try to make it to the mailbox, and that cold biting wind. It's not like Florida. That's a whole different spring. What's spring, glove folks? When we think back to these times, now when we think of the energy that we're in right now with this balance of day and night, and with what is spring, is all about all of the energy. Right now, the entire Western Hemisphere is about planting your new seeds. Planting your new seeds. Now, when we talked last year during the spring equinox, we actually handed out seeds. And we told the story about how the seed, a seed of a vegetable, can encode itself to your DNA and become your personal pharmacy. If you take the seeds of whatever plant it is, whatever vegetable it is, and you put those seeds in your mouth, and you marinate them in your own saliva, your DNA mixes with the DNA of that seed. And as it plants and as that seed grows into a vegetable, it will be your specific pharmacy. It's been proven time and time again that you can grow your own pharmacy by interacting your DNA with a seed's DNA. That the two things are not separate, that they really are connected if we allow them to be. Now this is just one thing that has to do with this time of year. With this time of year, the thing that I love about this is, let's take it on the very physical and then move it to the metaphysical. Right? On the very physical, if you decide right now to plant a garden, then you get to decide what's going to be in your garden. Step one, you decide what you want to eat. You decide what you want to plant. Free will, choice. There is no sense in planting things that you don't want to eat. Right? It's too much work. You plant only the things that you want in your life. The next part is you take that idea of something that you want. I want a cucumber. Then I have to go get that specific seed. I can only make cucumbers with cucumber seeds. I can't make cucumbers with pumpkin seeds, right? Again, real simple stuff to our conscious mind, but when we take it to the metaphysical part, ooh, this makes a whole bunch more sense. Because how often in life do we say, I want an amazing relationship, but I'm not going to plant amazing relationship seeds. I'm going to plant, but my past experience is, 2 dogs don't make a chicken.
Are you sure?
Pumpkins don't make cucumbers. We have to pick the specific seed of what we want to live in our life. We get to choose what those seeds are. And then we take it from thought of, I want this. Now we can want all day long, right? But crossing that barrier from the ethers, from the thought, from the energy of I want, into I'm actually going to have, it takes a physical form. Look, there's that seed. Now, that seed may not resemble its fruit. It may not resemble its plant. But working with others, we know that that seed is actually that seed will become that plant, will become that fruit or vegetable, because we've seen it happen over and over, even if it hasn't happened for us. We know that a cucumber seed is still going to make a cucumber plant, it's still going to make a cucumber. It's not going to magically make a pumpkin. Even if it's never made a pumpkin for us or a cucumber for us before, we know it's gonna. Faith, belief, understanding, and working with the combined knowledge of all of the human experience, just like looking at the spring equinox celebration, or the Orthodox Christian holiday, or any of these things, we bring it all in. And so with that same experience, we take that little seed that we want, and we say, okay, I want that. It's now in physical form. It's this seed. Now it requires action. This seed is not going to become the plant or the cucumber unless I put it in the ground. Unless I make the ground ready, put it in the ground, maybe a little fertilizer, whatever it is, and Now comes the next part, watering. You have to give it continual, daily attention. Oftentimes in life we say, I want this and I'm manifesting this, but I'm not taking to put it into a physical seed, and I'm not taking the action to put it in the ground, and I'm not giving it the continued action, continued care of watering it on a daily basis, giving it my time or my attention, so that it can manifest into the plant, that can then manifest into the food, or the fruit, or the vegetable that we want. I love this time of year because we get to decide what seeds we get. So when you think about your life right now, your individual life, what do I want in my life? Maybe I already have it, maybe I want more of it, maybe I don't have it and I want some of it. Maybe I've never had it, but it might be kind of fun. Let's go see what that looks like. Maybe it's just experimentation of, I've never had a pomegranate. Let's see what a pomegranate tastes like. I've had pomegranate, they're good, but that was an example. The point is that it doesn't have to be for a great purposeful reason of blah, 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 and something is broken that needs fixed and da-da-da. It's good getting better. It's, I think I want some of this, and I think I want some of that, and I think I want some of this, but instead of just wanting it, where's the seed of that for me? If you know what the seed is, plant it. If you don't know what the seed is, pray for it. Ask God to bring it to you. And keep the eyes open for when they show up. That when the seeds show up, that we don't dismiss them by saying, well, I've been praying for this thing, whatever it is. And it shows up. Oh, no, it can't look like that. It can't be that way, that direction, that thing. There was a big flood, and this fellow was stuck on the roof of his house. And a speedboat went by and went up to the house and said, hey buddy, jump on. And he said, no, you go ahead, God's going to save me. A little while later, the water kept rising and rising. A little while later, a helicopter comes by, a guy on a ladder says, come on buddy, jump on, we'll get you. He says, no, God's going to save me. Well, the water rose and rose and it swept the guy away. And he went up to the gates of St. Peter. And he looked at St. Pete and he said, man, I thought you were going to save me. And from behind the gates he heard God say, didn't you see the boat? Didn't you see the helicopter? I sent a lot of ways, man. You just had to grab on. Oftentimes the seeds that we plant in our lives don't always come in the way that we think they will. That doesn't take anything at all away from it. When I used to give thoughts to things like this time of year, the spring equinox and Easter and eggs and fertility and all these things, those used to be words in a book to me. Not anymore. I got me a whole new appreciation for eggs and seeds and stuff growing and becoming manifest in its own time. That it wasn't like Mary and I decided, let's have a kid. Let's make our family grow. Let's open that door. And suddenly, what do I do to it? Right? Started as little things, little seeds, little eggs, little ideas. It became physical, it became manifest, and then grow. Every day, grow. And, between you and me, I'm really glad it doesn't happen in instant manifestation. Because when every day you watch that little bit growth, that little bit growth, and I can get ready for it. I can get ready for it. Now in our own lives, we can get ready for it. If we want whatever was on that trampoline, if we want health. In some cases, if we want, we can health. God works that way sometimes. Other times, it's more like a baby or a cucumber. But it's a seed that grows and grows and grows for nurture. What else was on the trampoline? Finance, relationship, spirituality, spiritual gift. All of these things are available to you. You get to decide what seeds you want to plant. And now is the perfect time to plant them. Because the whole Western Hemisphere is planting with you. We're all connected. We're all little amplifiers for our own stereos. As we're all doing something that's easier. Because we're all doing it. The energy's already set. Even The sun and the moon and the stars and the seasons and the whole thing is saying, right now, baby, do it. Well, that makes a whole bunch more sense than trying to do this in the middle of January. Especially if you're in South Dakota, where I'm from. You have to thaw that ground before you can even chip away at it to plant anything. Here, you know, we get a little more leeway. But now is the time to plant what you want in your life. And remember, just like the seed, to take it in a physical form. To take the action of the planting. And then to make it a priority that you nurture. You give a little attention to every day. And watch it grow. And very soon, you'll have the fruit of that labor. The fruit of that purpose. God puts no restrictions on what seeds you choose. Anything you want, you can have. Now, as you plant that seed, as the rowboat and the speedboat and the helicopter and all these things show up, grab one. Most likely it's God what sent it. You can have anything. Now is the time. Plant the seed. Thank you.